I need a haircut. What's up, guys, and welcome to the weekly Q&A. I have no announcements this week, so let's answer some questions. Shane Sutton asks why Luke wants to join the Imperial Academy despite claiming to hate it. I think there are a couple of answers to this, and the first is that Luke is just a young moisture farmer on Tatooine. There aren't a lot of options for someone like him to get off the planet, so I think the Imperial Academy was probably one of his only options. But I do think there's more to it than that, and I believe it all comes down to Biggs. It's my opinion that Luke doesn't really have any anti-Imperial sentiments until he meets up with Biggs in that deleted scene. So his best friend, Biggs, he goes off, he joins the Imperial Academy, and Luke wants to follow in his footsteps. Well, then Biggs visits home, and he tells Luke, hey, I'm defecting, I'm going to join the rebellion. And Luke is shocked, but that's where his best friend's going, so all of a sudden he's kind of on board with the rebellion. I don't think that he really cared either way. At that moment in time, all Luke wanted was excitement and adventure.
A Jedi craves not these things.
I don't think Luke really cared about the politics of the galaxy, the rebellion, or the Empire until his aunt and uncle were killed, and then, of course, he chose a side. Sean O'Brien wants to know if I think Luke is going to make any sort of appearance on Rebels this season, since we know we're going to go to Tatooine. And we know that they're not afraid to highlight major characters, as we saw with Leia in Season 2, but I'm kind of on the fence on this. I don't want him to have any major appearance because I don't think that his story with the rebellion should start until Episode 4, for the exact reasons I just mentioned. So I'd be fine if he had a cameo like you suggested, just something in the background or something very brief. I just wouldn't expect him to have any big interaction with the main cast. Andy Marquin asks what I think Finn's role is going to be in The Last Jedi. I think he's going to be healed of his injuries very early on in the film thanks to the miracle of Bacta, and from then on I'm expecting that he and Poe are going to get paired off to be sent on some sort of mission, or that's my hope at least, because that scene where they're escaping the finalizer at the start of The Force Awakens might be my favorite part of that movie. Just something about their chemistry and seeing them bond over their escape. Like, I will always remember that is the point in that movie where I just, boom, huge smile, and it didn't leave me for the rest of the film, and it was all that scene in that moment. So I want to see them together, just being best friends. Like, I don't even care if they're fighting the First Order. Like, they can just take a day off and go on a vacation, and that's the whole movie. Like, I'd watch it. They have great chemistry. I want to see more of it, so that's my hope, at least, for Finn in Episode 8. Darth Kins wants to know about if characters like Darth Nihilus or Darth Revan are going to be reintroduced to the canon. Should they be modified at all, especially their power levels, so to speak? Should they be kind of toned down? And I think that would have to be the case with some characters, because power creep is always an issue. And Legends Star Wars, it happened a lot. Like, people got more and more and more powerful, and if they do that, especially in the expanded universe, it can diminish like the effectiveness of the villains in the films. And I think the films and those villains are going to be the priorities for Disney moving forward. So yeah, I think that if they were to reintroduce a character like Abeloth, she would have to be heavily modified to fit in with the new canon. And I think that is true for any of the uber powerful characters from Star Wars Legends. Mark Zebro Jr. asks if Lulo could show up on screen in The Last Jedi, because we know that the A-Wing is returning, and he's the only A-Wing Resistance pilot that we know of so far. I think there's definitely a possibility there. I would like to see it because it would be a really cool way to tie in the comics and the films. I like his character, and he's a Duros, so literally anyone could play him. It would be very easy to bring him on screen. However, the argument against him showing up is that there is potential for him to be a traitor. So he could resolve his story in the comics. He might be killed off, he might go to the First Order, which would still leave it open for him to reappear. But I would think that if he turns out to be the traitor, he will be written out of the story by the time of Episode 8. But for now, we just have to wait and see. That's it for patron questions. If you're a patron and you didn't see your question answered here, as always, just go over to Patreon and our weekly Q&A thread, and I left you a written response. If you're not a patron, you can follow the link in the description to learn more. Just $1 a month will get you some extra Star Wars Explained goodies and connections, and the combined donations really go a long way in helping support the channel. On to YouTube questions. Pad Brady asks what I expect from Star Wars Celebration this year. I'm hoping to get a Last Jedi trailer, a Rebels Season 4 trailer, and what I'm really hoping for is an announcement on the next anthology movie that will come out after Episode 9. I'm also just expecting to have a blast hanging out with other Star Wars fans, because I will be there, and I will definitely be hosting a meetup or two, so let me know if you're going to be there too, and at some point closer to Celebration, I will make an announcement, or we'll try to plan something, but somewhere that we can all hang out and talk. That would be awesome. Lucas Ivanov and apparently 46 other people want to know if I think that Sabine and Ezra are going to wind up together in Star Wars Rebels. I'm kind of on the fence on this because they haven't really touched on that in a while, so they might be abandoning Ezra's infatuation as a story thread, but I haven't written it off, and I do think that it would be interesting to see some sort of triangle form between Sabine and Ezra and Wedge. There could definitely be some jealousy there and a little push towards the dark side if he sees Wedge and Sabine getting a little flirty. Superstorm Owen asks if I think Snoke has a lightsaber, and if he does, will he ever fight Luke with it? I kind of hope that both Snoke and Luke are past the point of even needing lightsabers. I do think we'll see Luke's green one again, but I always thought it was so cool that the Emperor in Return of the Jedi didn't need one. He was doing fine without one, and it just set him apart as a villain. So I kind of hope that Snoke follows in that same vein, and that he's just all dark side powers all the time. Fisher 2000 wants to know if we'll see more of the unknown regions in canon. And I would say almost definitely. The First Order was founded in the unknown regions. I'm willing to bet that Snoke is currently in the unknown regions, and he wants Kylo Ren to be brought to him to complete his training. So I am almost positive we're going to see the unknown regions in The Last Jedi, and hopefully make them less unknown. Trapped in the Matrix asks what I want the next Star Wars video game to be. Well, technically, Battlefront 2 is next, I think, and I am excited for that because they just announced that there will be a single-player campaign, and it's going to span over multiple eras, so it sounds like they're rectifying some of the mistakes of the last game. But I think you're asking me what do I want beyond that, and really the Visceral game is what I'm most excited about because I think it'll be story-driven, which, of course, more lore is always exciting for me. But it also seems kind of in the same vein of that 1313 game, which I wish we could get back because that looked totally awesome. But something that would be similar to like Uncharted set in space, or in Star Wars, I should say, that is like my heaven. I love those games. So something along those lines is what I'm hoping for. So, and we don't really have a release date for that yet, but yeah, the Visceral game is what I'm hoping will be the next released one after Battlefront 2. That's all the time for questions I have today. If you want to leave a question for next week's Q&A, just put it down in the comments below or join up on Patreon to get a guaranteed response. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.